Crimson Desert has been in development for more than 6 years, and despite that long history, it's still one of the most misunderstood upcoming games in the industry. A lot of labels get thrown at it: Soulslike, multiplayer-focused, leftover MMO systems. But when you actually line up what's been shown and what Pearl Abyss has confirmed, Crimson Desert is doing something very different. So in this video, I want to slow things down and clear that up. Not with hype or speculation, but by looking at what Pearl Abyss has actually shown on screen so far. Crimson Desert didn't originally start as a standalone game. Early in development, it was conceived as a prequel to Black Desert Online, set in the same universe. But as development continued, the project kept growing in scope, and eventually, it transformed into something else entirely. What began as a connected prequel evolved into a fully standalone, single-player experience, still set in the same universe but no longer built around MMO systems. That shift became clearer in December 2020, when Pearl Abyss revealed a new trailer at the Game Awards and followed it up with developer commentary videos explaining their vision for the game and why its direction had changed. Those updates made it clear that Crimson Desert wasn't just a spin-off or side project anymore. It was becoming its own identity, designed specifically as a single-player action-adventure. To support that ambition, the game runs on an upgraded version of Pearl Abyss's proprietary technology, now known as the Black Space Engine. This engine allows them to push larger worlds, more complex physics, and deeper systemic interactions than what was possible in Black Desert Online. At its core, Crimson Desert is a single-player, open-world action-adventure game developed in Korea by Pearl Abyss. There is no multiplayer component, no shared world, and no MMO structure. Even though it shares engine technology and some design DNA with Black Desert, that doesn't make it an MMO. Studios reuse technology all the time. What matters is how the game actually plays. Once you move past that misconception, the rest of Crimson Desert starts to make a lot more sense. One of the biggest doubts people still have is about the combat. A lot of players assume it's all flashy trailers without real depth underneath. But once you look at extended gameplay, it becomes clear the combat is system-driven, not animation locked. Enemies stagger based on weight, positioning matters, terrain matters, attacks can be interrupted, enemies can be knocked off ledges. The environment isn't just visual dressing, it actively feeds into how fights play out. That physicality becomes even clearer once you look beyond Kliff. Kliff is the main playable character, and he's designed as the foundation of the combat system. His playstyle revolves around stamina, positioning, blocking, counters, and adaptability. Sword and shield make him flexible enough to handle a wide range of situations, which fits a game built around open-ended encounters. He isn't extreme in any direction. He's meant to be reliable. But Kliff isn't the only playable character. Pearl Abyss has already shown 2 additional playable side characters through real gameplay footage, not cinematics. Damiane and Oongka aren't cosmetic swaps or scripted companions. Both have been shown fighting real enemies in live encounters under the same condition as Kliff. Oongka is the most immediately distinct. Multiple gameplay clips show him actively participating in combat, clashing weapons, absorbing hits, and overpowering enemies through sheer physical force. His movement is slower and heavier, but deliberate. Every swing carries weight, and enemies react with strong staggers and knockback. He's built around control, survivability, and frontline pressure, the kind of character that thrives in the middle of chaotic fights rather than darting around the edges. His animations emphasize mass and momentum, and the combat system clearly supports that style without feeling scripted or restrictive. Damiane sits on the opposite end of the spectrum. Her gameplay clips show a much faster, more precision-focused combat style. She relies on high mobility, quick repositioning, and rapid recovery between attacks. Enemy reactions to her hits are shorter and sharper, reinforcing that her role is built around timing and execution rather than raw force. When you look at all 3 characters together, a clear structure emerges. Kliff is the balanced core, Oongka is the heavy bruiser, Damiane is the agile striker, and the important part is that they'll all operate within the same underlying systems. Stamina, physics, hit reactions, and enemy behavior remain consistent, but the feel of combat changes depending on who you're playing. That alone dismantles a lot of the Souls-like comparisons people still cling to. This isn't a game built around one rigid combat loop, it's a system designed to support multiple playstyles without breaking immersion. The same idea applies to the world itself. Crimson Desert's open world isn't just a backdrop. It's meant to be interacted with. Structures can be damaged and later repaired. Environments react to combat. Verticality matters. Traversal blends directly into encounters instead of existing separately from them. You're not just moving between objectives. You're engaging with a physical space that actively affects how fights unfold. Traversal plays a huge role in that. You can climb buildings, cliffs, mountains, and even massive enemies. You can glide using a feathered cloak, web swing across structures, skydive from high altitude locations, and travel using boats or hot air balloons. There are also sky kingdoms built around puzzle-focused content, adding a vertical layer to exploration. On top of that, there's a system comparable to a Zelda-style Ultra Hand that allows you to manipulate objects and interact with the environment in creative systemic ways. Weapons and elemental abilities tie directly into these systems. Crimson Desert features a wide range of weapons, including swords, spears, bows, and more, each with its own special attacks. One example shown is a sword that summons an angry genie during combat. Elemental effects like fire, ice, and lightning interact with the environment. Wood can burn, water can freeze, and electricity can conduct through surfaces. These interactions affect combat, traversal, and puzzle solving rather than existing as isolated mechanics. Mounts are fully integrated into gameplay. You can ride wolves, standard horses with mounted combat, massive grizzly bears, raptors, and even flying dragons. Mounts are capable of attacking enemies using special abilities, meaning they aren't just transportation.
I take no pleasure in this.
And then there's the wild card, a Titanfall-inspired mech you can pilot. It sounds ridiculous on paper, but it fits perfectly with Crimson Desert's anything is possible approach to scale and systems. Crimson Desert also includes progression systems, but they're framed in support of the action rather than defining the experience. A skill tree is confirmed, though it hasn't been fully shown yet, alongside armor that changes Kliff's appearance, weapon upgrades, and a wide range of optional mechanics layered on top of combat and exploration. These systems exist to expand player choice, not to turn the game into a stat-driven RPG. The world itself is reactive in smaller ways too. You can chop down trees, harvest stone, fish, and cook meals using known recipes or by experimenting to discover new ones. There's a wanted system, bounties, creature hunting, and even the ability to capture enemies and exchange them in cities for rewards. Small interactions like petting dogs, carrying cats, charming mice with a flute, and arm wrestling NPCs. On the technical side, the game runs on Pearl Abyss's Black Space engine. Confirmed features include ray tracing, DLSS 4, advanced cloth, wind, water, and hair simulation, a fully adjustable field of view, and PS5 Pro enhancements. There's also a first-person perspective option, though it isn't intended as the primary way to play and appears more focused on immersion than core design. The sound design team has cited Capcom as an influence, and the English voice cast includes well-known actors like Neil Newbon. Crimson Desert will launch with multiple physical editions including Collectors, Deluxe, Day 1, and Standard releases. A Steelbook edition is also listed on the official site, but its availability is extremely limited, currently only confirmed for Austria, Poland, and Switzerland. The game is coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Mac with a confirmed release date of March 19, 2026. Even after 6 years, there's still a lot Pearl Abyss hasn't shown, and that restraint feels deliberate. Crimson Desert isn't trying to be a Soulslike, and it isn't chasing multiplayer trends. It's building a dense, systems-driven single-player action-adventure where combat, traversal, and world interaction all feed into each other. If Pearl Abyss delivers on combat feel, stamina balance, and console performance, Crimson Desert could end up being one of the most mechanically ambitious action-adventure games of this generation. And for the first time in a long time, we're close enough to release that the guessing phase is almost over. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
For at the end of it, you will find the answers you seek.